Survivors of institutional child abuse say the South Australian government is inexplicably delaying a law that will allow them to claim proper compensation. Parliament passed changes to civil liability laws last year, but the state government has not commenced the legislation yet, meaning it can't be used. The law would allow abuse survivors to sue institutions that put their assets in trusts or unincorporated organisations, including some churches.
This abuse survivor wants to know why the laws that make it possible to sue institutions for child abuse have not yet been implemented.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing that the government hasn't thought about the victims and all the pain and suffering they've been through.
Bill for an Act to amend the Civil Liability Act 1936.
The amendments to civil liability laws have passed Parliament, but the state government has not commenced the legislation yet. The law would allow abuse survivors to sue institutions that put their assets in trusts and for courts to set aside small compensation settlements that have been made previously.
There's a lot of victims out there that need this law to be passed so that they can go back and look at, fixing up what their lives have been through and, taking advantage of being able to get those, those funds.
The amendments were recommended in 2015 by the Royal Commission into Institutional Child Abuse, which examined whether survivors could properly seek compensation from institutions which kept their assets in trusts or, like churches, were not legal entities that could be sued. South Australia is the only state yet to implement the recommendations in some way.
It is a very technical change with significant ramifications, and we want to make sure we get this right so that those people who have been victims as children have the best possible chance of getting redress and taking action against those institutions.
Other laws passed on the same day as these amendments, which also relate to child abuse, commenced last month. But the government is yet to set a commencement date for these changes to civil liability.
We are looking to implement that as soon as we can.
That assurance has not satisfied survivor advocates, who say the government hasn't given a good reason for the delay.
We don't know when. We're being given ridiculous answers as to why, and in fact, no answers. So we would like to know what's going on.
If the government does not set a commencement date, the law will automatically come into force in December 2023. Eric Twarchek, ABC News, Adelaide.